swing by, tell it to shut up and go back in there.
George and the girl as well was pretty upset. So.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh,
Well, this is gonna be screwed up.
what's that? Oh, the parking thing?
Yeah. Cause this one here's one way also, right? This one comes in this way, you can't go out that way.
Yeah,
So you got this one going one way, this one coming one
I
way.
think they're talking about making that one way out.
I'll switch it now?
Yeah. This is just a,
Yeah, I know, but, that's gonna screw me up going to dollar store all the time.
you should go over there and go to. It's gonna help you, because when you're down further, you actually pull right and then stop moving to left-hand traffic.
Right. But you know,
Help you out.
but that's, I can't get used to change. I don't know how to go the other
Or
way.
just switch a zero, make it one way out and that end.
Cause this one's gonna be in or out here, this is gonna be in or out here.
That is a pig being both ways.
Yeah, yeah.
I've met a couple vehicles that are ordered.
Yeah, I don't remember how the sight distance is over here on this one.
There you should.
Yeah, if somebody would quit parking their friggin' vehicle here in the no parking zone with their flashers on.
I don't think they will now. They want to be on
Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but-
so they're shutting down.
Yeah, I saw
I
her,
think that solved that problem probably. Well, now it should.
the other day I saw it, but
Where's the out on this map? I see a one-way in, and where's the out?
That's
You
what
got
we were just
one-
discussing.
you got one over here by the Hallmark, you got one coming down to Griffith's Lumber. See what I mean? You see your arrows going in and out?
I see the one-way going in, next to the loading area, right, on the left
Correct.
side, okay? And where's the out to,
The double arrows, down by Griffith's Lumber.
I thought this was just reflecting,
Here's, this way you go down to Beach Street,
okay, so this is an out.
and this is now up here by the Hallmark. In and
Okay,
out.
thank you. All right. But there's no one-way out.
Someone's telecommunications just fell on the floor. You shouldn't have sat down, you should have just turned around and flag. Thanks.
Do not send it in.
Doesn't matter, it's not the end of the world. It can be done much after that. Suggestions, I just want to put back.
Do I have everything?
I got more than you probably.
Melinda's on her way.
Maybe next, maybe like Monday or something, next Monday.
It's the same.
Go back and see. So after that, are you around Monday?
Yeah, we clean up stuff in the morning and then.
Just come back and get me on Monday. I'll be there,
I know.
whenever you want. We'll go over and we'll meet and, I just wanted to ask you some questions.
You've got lots of time, dude. Pretty much, I'm the only one who listens, but at least it's an intelligent conversation. Nice shirt. Nice shirt, maybe also nice shirt.
Well, get two.
I've got 3 or 4 actually.
We're about the same size, aren't we?
Yeah, you bet.
We may have got it.
Well,
I think I've got it a long time ago.
It's right.
Meeting come to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Todd, do the honors.
Yes, ma'am. Eternal Father, Lord of heaven and earth, we offer this meeting of our council to you and ask you to bless it with your wisdom and guidance. We ask you to enlighten our minds to know what is true and just, to strengthen our wills to carry out faithfully what we come to see as our duty.
Amen.
Yeah, she's fine.
Well, you got a drink, I see security now. Should go. Good boy.
Approval of the minutes.
Changes and corrections.
Page 3. Fifth line, under zoning officer. What I actually stated was that Judge Siemens gave 45 days. And the correction should also be, Granahan answered the rule, it's the order. That's an order. And for the record, it was 45 days to remove the spigot. Page 3, under zoning officer, line 5, Skinner questioned.
Yeah. You questioned 45 days, you're stating that you
I stated that Judge Siemens gave 45 days in the order, okay? And underneath here where Granahan answered the rule, the language should be ordered. Okay, and it was, the order stated she had 45 days to remove it, and there was nothing in there about usage or cease and desist. And that's the point I was going after.
You can't change the minutes to reflect
We can-
something else.
Okay,
I mean, the
Sean,
minutes have to stay
Sean,
what
I
the
didn't
minutes say.
question, I stated that Judge Siemens, in Judge Siemens' order, he gave 45 days. I would like it amended to reflect that I stated that Judge Siemens gave 45 days in the order. We don't need to go into that the order didn't go into a cease and desist or anything, that the order was very plain, 45 days to remove the spigot.
So you would like your,
Nothing more, nothing less.
you would like your word questioned changed to stated,
Correct?
and you would like the answer, the rule was 45 days, was what Granahan answered.
It's not a rule, it's an order.
Right. She would like to change the wording on what she stated, Sean. Did you say rule or?
Pardon me?
Are you objectionable to changing your statement where it says Granahan answered the rule was 45 order? You want to change that to order, is that fine? Any other changes, corrections?
Page 1, roll call. You have me down, I wasn't here. Oh, you were Tony?
No.
Okay. I didn't know if she swapped you and me.
Yeah. No, I wasn't.
I have more weight than you do, though.
You admitted it, not me.
Yes, I did, the aggravation got you. Yes.
Any other?
I have a question, page 10. Is Servpro subcontracting with that statement at the 11th line down? They have a third-party license.
No. We picked the third party. Has nothing to do with Servpro.
With qualifications for mold remediation?
I don't know who we picked, but Servpro said once the protocol is established, call us.
Servpro has the qualifications for mold remediation. The hygienist has the qualifications for testing and lab work.
Servpro does?
No. Servpro fixes it.
Servpro does
doesn't
the
test or
remediation.
doesn't subcontract the test. It's got nothing to do with that.
Okay, so we have to find somebody who's licensed to do that.
Exactly.
And who is going to be doing that? Who's charged with that task?
The thing is, we're trying to found. Didn't do it. So Binghamton firm is just going to back up what basically what Gary said. Or confirm or deny what Gary has already said.
Did we pay for Gary's work?
Yes.
No, we paid for that.
Yes.
We have the bill.
We have to do that.
I think that I saw a budget item in January, maybe. I don't know. Okay. Has that determination been made as to who we're using?
Yes. It was a hygienist out of Binghamton. She'll give his name for you.
Excuse me, thank you.
She's giving his name.
Thank you.
It was JTE. JTE Environmental. Keystone Environmental. And a copy of the quote of what his not to exceed fee was, which was approved by council.
Would you pass that along, yeah? Oh, it was approved at the special meeting.
Yes.
May I have a copy of this, please?
No.
We should approve the minutes.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as corrected.
Second.
Made and seconded, all those in favor, aye. Opposed?
Abstention.
Miscellaneous court, or I'm sorry, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Miscellaneous correspondence. Questions or comments?
Page 19 on the letter from Time Warner.
Yeah.
What does that do to our franchise agreement? Any impact?
It doesn't, shouldn't. That's, all they're doing is they're taking some of the channels, they've been changing these channels right along to the digital. Some of the analog ones that are there now will be changed over to the digital.
Where are we on that?
Well, we got that on the agenda.
Thank
So
you.
we bring that down there.
Okay.
But what it amounts to is that if you're getting it now without a cable box, you still need a cable box.
Which will incur more fees.
That's a 15.
Interesting.
You should get a
Little
letter.
debate there.
From one cable.
It'll be an interesting meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Right now, we're doing it for 3, beginning of 15. We'll get another email from that one today.
Any other discussion, questions? Recognition of attendees. Mr. Ryan, if you could read that, we'll save a lot of passing.
See if I can read it.
If you could read that.
Dale Smith, Dee Pickett, Vera Scroggins, Tammy Manning, Stacy Wilson, Ken D. something or other, and Alice Wall.
And I
Give
didn't
it
sign in.
somebody.
No, I didn't sign in. I'm
Shame
sorry.
on you.
I didn't miss anybody. I got everybody on the list.
Yeah.
I was trying to sneak in.
Adoption of the agenda.
So there are some things under number 1 in discussions that are actually action items, so I'd like to move 1 up to number 6.
Could you repeat that, Sean?
There are items under number 1 that I would like to move to action item. So I'd like to move number 1 in discussion, number 6 under action item.
Thank you.
Could I add the handicap parking on Public Avenue?
For action item number 7. Under discussion item number 2, lease and real estate are two of the things that we can take into executive session, so depending on if that gets into lease talk, we will leave that up to the discretion maybe of our attorney. If it gets, we can discuss parts of that in executive session. Get any major questions on the lease or action that you'd like to propose on the lease, we'll take that into executive session. So we'll leave it under discussion for now, and we'll play it we'll go by ear, if that's agreeable.
And under discussion items number 5, I'd like to add protocols for asking the borough secretary for assignments.
All right, we've got that changed around. Motion to accept the agenda?
I have one clarification.
Sure.
Under executive session, is it personal or personnel?
Personnel is what it should be.
Thank you. And
I wanted to ask that. I was so
and
waiting. I was
possibly,
looking forward to it.
The lease agreements.
Can I ask about discussion items too? Did I get any lunch there?
Motion to accept the agenda. Adopt the agenda. So, Got a motion. I'll take a second. All those in favor, aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Table.
Who's Carlo Schneller?
Engineer,
I figured for our park, for the park.
for everything we've done,
Okay.
except for what we used Francis Trivia for.
Okay.
He did this building, he's done the park.
Community planning and management. I figured as much. Okay.
Motion to pay the bills.
I'll move to pay those.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor, aye. All those opposed. Motion carries. Payroll. Motion to pay the payroll.
Second.
Second from Todd. Questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Accounts receivable. We'll take all the money.
Yep, parking's looking good. I have a question, on 61, the second item under police. What's that $10,000?
That's Horse Lake.
Excuse me?
Horse
Oh,
Lake.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Treasurer's report.
Page 67, under building fund disbursements, what is that?
That's our payment to the building.
Payment on this building. The health payment.
Year to date?
No.
Pull the numbers back out.
That's on this new building.
Correct.
Okay.
That's an hour's money. Okay, that's sure.
No, it's not. That's the idea. The regular payment, depending on how it hits with the next payment.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report with question? So, or without question, however you guys would like
Will
to.
we get a determination at next
She'll read
meeting?
that out.
Thanks, Hannah.
Yeah, no problem.
I move to accept the treasurer's report.
Greg with a second, all those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Budget report.
I have a question on page 82, under section 380 and subsection 381, miscellaneous. What is that? That's a chunk of change there.
Yeah,
380 miscellaneous.
Slap 26,000 in there, and what is that?
you know what, Julian, I'd have to go and expand it to find out what it is. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so you'll let us know on that.
Yeah.
Well, we normally figure miscellaneous income. Got some donations in it. Never used to be that big, but I can't remember. It's all just miscellaneous income,
Yeah.
basically.
I can look that
Is that foreign fire insurance?
up. No, that has its own online question.
How much is what we got? How much is it, how much miscellaneous income have we received? Is that 25,000?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would be an interesting thing.
Well, it's a significant percentage of the budget, like the
She's gonna check
fourth
that.
column.
Why don't we, while she checks that, we can move right on to Kenny without objection.
Do we have to, are we accept, has this been,
I don't think, we don't make a motion to accept that.
I
It is what it is, that's,
I just have one question. On the auditing services, Did we do,
professional.
did we, what's our fiscal year? It's calendar year, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I think in January, did we get the report? Was it published?
Yes. I'd have to
It
go
was-
see if it's in my file.
Okay, I have to.
I'm pretty
look.
sure I read it.
And it was published? Okay.
To my recollection, it was published, and it should be on my desk.
Okay.
Our accounting report was published in January
I'd have to
for the
look.
prior year.
I have to
Pretty sure
look.
it was. Pretty sure.
The 20,000 is for the sale of the borough truck.
Oh, okay.
Kenny, you're up. I'm
Okay.
sorry, any other questions, comments? Kenny, you're up.
Okay, not a whole lot going on. I did run into Joe Hunt. We did receive our excavation permit, I'm sorry, elevation permit. I have a typo in mine. But I did run into him, he sent a copy to Carrizo, and we're trying to hammer out a date for the excavation on the Coleman Road. So, you know, we're not impeding them and whatever, but, yeah, so we're working at that. And also, in Joe Hunt's conversation, we talked about the parking lot. And I did see that's on a discussion item. I don't know if you care to discuss that now at this point, or,
I can do that if you want to.
perfect.
It's up to you guys, what do you want to do? You want to jump? Or do you want to wait?
You want to,
Can you,
Well, Kenny, you know, you gotta answer the plans he wants to go.
Let's jump.
I got a date with a bristly street sweeper tomorrow morning, early.
Go ahead, what does Joe have to say? What is,
Well, he
First, tell us what
says,
Joe says.
yeah, let's find out what Joe has to say.
Joe wanted to know if you guys had an opportunity to look at the plans that he had submitted. And he said that he would lay out the parking lot. And if you guys are interested, you know, we can paint it. So I told him I'd talk to you guys this evening and see what you guys thought about that.
my question on that is, are we gonna top that with agility program this year? Is the state gonna do anything?
I looked into it, Tony, but the state has a very aggressive stone and oil, and they're not gonna be able to service, plus it's
Parking lot.
messy, it's messy.
And it's a parking lot.
Right.
Right, but that's part of our agility though.
It's parking lot, municipal parking lot.
That's part of our agility with them.
That's the way we did it the last time.
Right, that's what we did last time. This year, I'm gonna have them, we're working out another plan for ditch cleaning with an excavator, edging.
So we are gonna get something out of it.
Yes, we are. We're working on a plan now.
I walked it the other day, and I thought it was in pretty good shape for what we've done with it.
It isn't too bad. It's not bad.
Well, is it in its current condition, will it hold lines?
Oh, yes, yep, absolutely.
Well, I think it's the biggest issue, is whether.
I just didn't wanna see us putting lines down and then have the state come in and.
Right,
cover it
right.
up. Okay.
Good question.
The only issue there would be is it's still dirt in the parking areas. I don't know if you guys still have your copy of Joe's. Our parking lot side by the bookstore, there's 9 spots. Some of those would be in the dirt, directly behind Jimmy Olin's old building. Some of those spaces, half of them probably in dirt still. So that would probably have to be addressed. But other than that, with the plans that he'd submitted, they look pretty decent, doesn't look bad at all.
There's a couple of, I met with Judy and Betty yesterday, and there were a couple issues came up. One was the concern about
Lighting?
the lighting. One was the concern about changing the one-way directions.
Okay.
So I don't know, right now it's one-way like in an opposite style direction.
Right.
So I don't know if it would be appropriate to change them in that direction, and then you have to worry about people, you know, used to coming in the parking lot a certain direction.
Right.
They're already used to doing it. I don't know if that's really something we would want to do. So our thought was not to change the one-way direction. He wants it one way, so his staff can pull in and go right into the garage. I understand that, but on the same token, people aren't really used to dealing with that.
And he's looking to flip-flop Beach Street as far as one-way going out?
He doesn't want, he has them both. He has the egress coming out of the place up by, up by,
Is there any reason you're doing this, Vera, for your attention? Could you please stand in one spot as requested, or sit?
For the rules?
Because he keeps hiding. So he keeps moving around. Mr.
Councilmen are entitled to do what they need to do.
But I don't have to be in one spot.
You need to be in one spot.
I do, is there,
You're being distracted.
You're already distracted me
and where is the ruling that I have to be in one spot? Can you show me?
Well, you've already moved chairs, so we can stop right there if you want to go against the rules.
Where are the rules?
See, right now I'm finding you very disruptive, so we're going to move on. You do what you need to do, and we'll do what we need to do. So back to before we were interrupted.
yeah, so basically, the question is the one-ways. I think that was the biggest question everybody had, was the one-ways. And I think we should probably sit with Kenny or talk to Kenny at some point or other and get a sense of whether or not that really should be changed. So that was just one of our suggestions about Joe's thing. That was the biggest one. I don't know how anybody feels about changing the directions.
I would have to agree with you that changing the direction is probably not. And those top four, right up against the back of Craig's,
Yes.
I would question.
Leave it open or an
Yeah,
access.
you need
through.
that for an access to
Right.
go around. We thought the same thing. So we
Right.
thought those should probably go. And then there was some, I don't know what some of these squigglies are. I'm assuming that those are kind of like round, like directionals.
Right.
In terms of how to get
Right.
around with a larger truck. So I think in that sense, we should, we should consider what we want to do with them. The other suggestions, I don't know, do you want me to go through some of the things that they just asked me to throw up? All right. So one was if we could name it something, under the theory that it's easier to put out rather than just plain old municipal parking. So the suggestion was thrown out for the name of livery lot, since it used to be a livery back then. So I don't know if anybody has any objections to that, or if we could name it a livery lot.
Two things. Number one, the livery lot was on the west side of Public Avenue.
Oh, all right, so
And-
livery lot would not be the name. Well, let's get it, that's all.
But it's a great idea, but I don't think that's the right name.
Okay, so we'll need a name.
Yeah.
Okay. And then,
There was another issue down there, number two, as long as I got my mouth open.
Please do.
The fire people do not come underneath that fire escape between Craig's and Olin's.
so we don't have to worry about,
We don't have to worry about them.
perfect, okay. So that cleans up that
I
one.
confirmed that with the fireman a month or so ago.
Okay. And then the next one is, can we direct Jimmy to reach out to like Rafferty's and some of the others, since it's all overgrown and there's garbage and other stuff there? He doesn't have, I'm not asking for citations, I just wanted to reach out to them and say, look, can you run a weed whacker over there and clean it up? We want to try to clean this parking lot up. The question came up over the part of the egress, I believe it is, that goes out where you see the butler's pantry. It's right next to the light. So I don't think many people use that, or do you think people use that? I don't know enough about it, to be honest with you. That's why I'm throwing it out as a discussion item. Do a lot of people use that exit there? Because there was a question about turning that, making that a pedestrian walkway, cleaning up that area, and that way people can get out of the parking lot and go to the few businesses that are around.
If you leave the one-way on the south side of the publishing company going out rather than coming in, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
So then,
The people that use the backs of those buildings are mostly the ones that you find in coming out of that alley there.
What's the actual name on that street, Ken?
Chestnut.
No, over by,
I don't think that's.
Chestnut Alley, that's where it came.
You have a lily pad?
yeah, I know Lily Pad.
Yeah.
That's Chestnut?
No, I didn't know there was ever a name.
No, it's got a different name than that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's got a different
I
name.
got a map at home that says it's Chestnut Alley.
Stacy.
Chestnut Alley used to run all the way across.
What do you have to say? Okay, well, no, I don't know the name of it, but now that I park in the upper portion of the municipal lot, there are a number of cars who drop there, who park there along the alleyway and load and unload for the different shops.
They would leave the loading and unloading as, that would stay in
Okay.
place. So the loading and unloading, because of the shops, I know the Lily Pad had to, and the other stores would have to.
And I've noticed,
they'd have
like,
to
I
have
think some
loading
of the
for
apartments use a back
That was
entrance
the other question.
in and out, and there seem to actually even be driveways back there for some of them. So now that I'm in and out of that alley,
If you close that off, somebody'd have to back up to get out of there at some point, if they use that, which is not ever convenient.
Well, I don't think the idea was blocking it off.
Yeah.
It was just kind of, like, it would
Yeah,
still have
make it more pedestrian.
Make it,
friendly,
right, make it more
which it's
pedestrian looking, but not necessarily put any type of blocking things. Because you'd still need to get back there with a fire truck or something if you had to. You don't wanna,
That one,
you wouldn't wanna block it.
Yeah.
You'd wanna just kind of designate it, so to speak.
but Craig, you were saying next to the Butler's Pantry. Did we finish that?
Across from the.
Across.
Yeah,
That's the one we're talking about.
That's that one, like, right, it's like the one right between publishing and whatever.
Is
the
it we did
bookstore
that
and
when
the
we have to
lifting.
go through abandoning that road and all that?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. We don't receive any liquid fuels for that, so
The last one was, I don't
I don't.
remember.
We wouldn't-
No, we don't get liquid
we would-
fuels for
we
it.
would leave it as
I tried,
access
but-
way. We would leave it as an access way because we would be responsible for maintaining it.
The last one was we had taken a look at, Betty and Judy had brought us the Gettysburg business plan. And we had talked about getting it typed up, and there's a lady in the square that's willing to do it for a bucket page. There's a lot of photos in it, so the whole thing would cost under $200. And we
Could you
authorized-
refresh us on the Gettysburg business plan?
The whole concept was putting out a comprehensive plan for the borough,
A 5-year plan?
5-year plan or 10-year
Thank
plan.
you.
And the Gettysburg plan would make a nice template that we could play with, would make it a lot faster.
I see.
If the groundwork of it. So there's a, like I said, there's a lady willing to do it the square, bucket page, saves Aaron. So that's what I would move for permission to do that. That would be my motion out of all this.
Second.
Motion made and seconded for a lady in the square
Yeah, I'll
to
give them
do $200 worth of typing.
Works.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay.
Beautiful.
And can we suggest how we can get Joe Hunt and Judy Kelly and Betty Bragdon all together in one
Yeah, I mean, actually,
location?
that's fine. I mean, we talked about it yesterday. They kind of, because of schedules and everything else, they were more than happy to find out that Kenny whenever it's
Joe,
convenient.
okay.
Yeah, whenever it's convenient. Which Kenny and I talked about maybe next Monday or something.
Monday, yep.
Okey-dokey. Any other questions for Kenny? He's covered Coleman Road,
Yep.
he's covered Joe Hunt. He's worked like a dog last month, and he's gonna work like a dog this month.
While Ken's here, could we just briefly touch on that handicap parking on public avenue?
Yes, you can.
Kenny did a nice job of getting the handicap as well as the white lines painted in June for all of Public Avenue. I've been talking with John Puzo, and we were looking to see if we'd get in trouble with the state. The recommendation that we've gotten through Judy Kelly is they'd like to have more handicap parking near the center of Public Avenue, like by the bump outs. It would not be feasible to do it on the theater side. So what we're suggesting is that we go to the other side of the bump out where we put the regular parking in front of Montrose Sporting Goods. That would be amenable to, as John explains it, you need an 11-foot wide space plus 5 feet on one side to unload. designated as van accessible parking. With the alley there that's already has the blue hash marks in it, we would have the 5 feet. The 11, Kenny, do we have on the existing white lines, or would we have to expand that slightly?
We would have to
Yes,
expand.
that was what I thought when I drove up there. And all we would need there is a sign, the bottom of the sign is 60 inches from the top of the curb saying van accessible parking. And with the handicap thing on it in blue. And according to John, he doesn't believe we're going to follow any laws or dictates that would make us otherwise responsible to keep it in the place that it is. At this point, I would not close off the one in the doctor, in front of the dentist office, Endless Mountains Dental, Progressive Dental. I leave the 2 of them right there. I just add this one to our handicap parking. If we have feedback from Public Avenue, we can always revert that one to a regular parking.
Questions or comments for Craig? Anybody like to do? Let me see, turn it into a motion.
I'll make that one.
Second. Sean with a second. All those in favor of adding a handicap parking spot to the west side of Public Avenue?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Anything else, Kenny?
No, that's it for me, unless you guys have any.
Isn't it like 2 months in a row you had no needs?
Actually, it's better 3 times this year.
3 times?
Yeah, 3 times this year.
Why do you
You're
bring
going to
this?
sneak up on us later.
He's saving it.
Oh, no, you need paint.
If we
You need
decide,
paint.
if we do decide to paint the
Yeah.
parking lots, I'm gonna need paint.
Yeah, pending the decision on
Second,
Joe's
parking
thing.
lot,
On the parking lot, you will need.
I will need to purchase 10 gallons of paint. Or 15.
Thank you, Ken.
30 seconds.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think we should just, make a motion and second it. and let's vote.
Yeah.
Gotta get the paint. I mean, we're gonna paint it at some point.
They do a motion.
We did. Randy second.
Randy seconded. All those in favor of getting Kenny some paint?
Aye.
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 All those opposed?
Thank you.
Okay, now you can't come in with a perfect record. You got something. The zoning zoning officer.
I have 2 questions. One is,
Go ahead, Sean. I'm just bad one. No, not that one. The only thing that I wanted to add to the zoning report was the property on Lincoln Avenue. And where we're updated, or do a little updating on that. The kind of what I've given Jimmy as far as, in my direction, they want to convert a barn into an apartment. And it'll be quite an apartment.
Into a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yes,
That's okay.
yes.
That's what you're commenting on.
Right, and went over it and over it and over it, and I can't find anything in our zoning that would prohibit it. Potentially, it's going to need more. If they should decide to subdivide the lot, then it's going to need some problems, or it's got a few issues, I think, unless it's done correctly. He's got all the setbacks, he's got all the square footage, he's got all the parking, got everything he needs. I think Jimmy checked with Carson. Carson is, I haven't heard from Jimmy, so I'm assuming Carson.
So I don't need to establish sewer and water back there.
That's been
You'll have to
established.
go to COG to get,
That is established as sewer and as water.
okay.
And before he can go to COG, he needs a permit from us.
Right.
Which this is part of the problem, or part of the process that I disagree with. I asked for a set of plans that we could have, that he would be taking to COG. I'm basically a very distrustful person, but hopefully he holds it to this. He thought he would be meeting with the architect, or would have a set of plans. So that's the only thing that I would ask him to review the actual, what he did was a napkin sketch for us. Anyway, any other questions or comments?
Yeah, two questions. Actually, both are for, one's for Marion and one is for all of us. On the Jessup Street, I understand that there's still that the spigot itself is gone, but the piping is there. What happened with the magistrate and Marta and the amount of money that was ticking away there?
She never filed an appeal, so she is subject to, she's subject to the fine that occurred during that period of time.
Do we have to do anything with the file?
I'll file a judgment.
So that was one. And then while we're talking about judgments, my other one is, in light of all, I know that we had discussions back and forth about the issue of malicious prosecution with regard to Mr. Stevens and the frivolous lawsuits that he carried on. And so my question is, I remember you had said that that's typically not the type of work that you do, that's more for plaintiffs. So is there, do you want to take some time, and that'll be my motion. My motion will be that we want to have Marion take some time, look into it, see if there's a personal injury attorney, a couple of personal injury attorneys she could interview on contingency perhaps, and see whether they would be willing to help us get back some of the money that we wasted. So that's my motion. I'd like to move to see to it that we...
Can we go back to your first point, Sean? With respect to, it's my understanding that District Justice Hollister assigned $100 for the violation.
On two.
Yeah, so it's $200.
No,
Per day.
per day. Per day.
100?
Per day.
As long as the spigot continued to stay there, she was racking up $200 a day.
So, from the date of the hearing at the magistrate's office, it was 200 a day going forward.
That's right.
Until the removal on the 23rd or whatever day it was, the
That's
13th.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's approximately in the area of $6,000 for every
Motion's on the table to authorize our solicitor to investigate with some personal injury lawyers, a matter of getting some of our attorney's fees and damages, I guess, or should I just attorney's fees? Is that-
Well, it wouldn't be
Either
damages
or, I
and
guess.
and attorney's fees, I believe, under malicious prosecution rules.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Tony with the second. The discussion. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion
I
carries.
apologize for that.
Okay, you opposed?
Yeah.
One no.
I have a question. On June 6th, sixth item down, who gave the order to padlock that hydrant?
I don't know if there was an order given. I think it was pointed out and that should not be used while it was, after it was declared illegal.
Someone gave an order to the police department to padlock that hydrant. And I suspect on June 3rd, when everyone was in that back room, you all had a meeting. But those are just my suspicions. Because I was on the property on the 7th, and the police officer who responded said, Borough Council voted on this. And the mayor said that as well.
The only one that the police accept orders from are from the mayor. So with that being said,
I have a question.
sure.
At the June 17 meeting, there was some discussion about the lease. We didn't, was there any provision? You signed the lease, Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Is there a provision in there about mold?
I would like to discuss this in executive session, if I might.
Thank you.
Anything else before we go to executive session? We will have two subjects in executive session, one being a lease, real estate discussion, and we will have a personnel discussion. Executive session is declared at 8:14.
Or personal, however.
Sometimes.
Whichever spelling you want to use.
I was just wondering if
Maybe I
it's
gotta hold your
personal
hand.
problems, you know?
I do every day.
Would you? Because I get scared.
I don't know between that and executive session.
Seems like you should be problem free.
That's the question.
That'll be a question I'll have for you then.
There.
Walter Crown probably would
Do
say.
you want to do part of your issue first, and then I'll take a powder and,
You might as well come in for the first question.
I'm gonna go to the ladies' room.
Okay.
I like your shirt, Stacy. Thank you very much. You know, Brickley charges by the hour.
What's that?
Brickley charges by the hour.
So do I, but read the saturation.
Session, we're out of executive session, 8:32. Get our session back in.
Pursuant to the executive session, I am going to move to file the draft ethics complaint that our solicitor drafted for us in the matter of Julian Skinner and the Craig Stevens litigation.
Motion made, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Tony with the second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Any further business before the borough? Listen for a motion to adjourn? Yep. Second? Second. All those in favor? Adjourn.
You must have to move the meeting along. Oh, I think meant to have a meeting tonight, yeah, we were late.
So, like,
Yeah.